Hello. Okay, welcome. I am doing a live today. This is going to be like a mini masterclass all about how quick fixes really do mess up your hormones and what you can be doing instead. And if you stay to the very end today, I have something really super special for you all. Hi to everybody who's jumping in. So if you are new to me and I don't know you, please jump into the comments. Let me know where you're joining from. Let me know what your recent quick fix has been that you've been trying to work on for your hormones, or kind of biggest hormonal issue that you've been facing or wanting support in or having questions about, because I would love to support you and answer questions today too. So let's talk about how quick fixes really do mess up your hormones. And honestly, they do. And first of all, in order to have this conversation, we have to be on the same page about what hormones are. So hormones are, to put it really super simply and in a way that actually sounds really complex, hormones are chemical messengers, okay? And these chemical messengers set off a cascade of so many reactions in your body, and really think about hormones as like communicators in that way. And as women, a lot of times we're actually talking about hormones primarily in the steroid hormone pathway or steroid hormone group, things like estrogen, testosterone, cortisol, DHEA, right? These are probably hormones you've heard of. Let me know in the chat if you've heard of these. Just drop an emoji. That kind of lets me know you're following along. So anyways, hormones, really especially important in women, especially in middle age, and as we're really starting to approach perimenopause and postmenopause, okay? So for women, really, I would say 30 to 65, 70, this conversation around hormones is hyper relevant, okay? And here's the deal. A lot of these quick fixes, which tell me what you think a quick fix is when it comes to your hormones and a symptom you're dealing with related to your health. I'm curious to have you drop in the chat and be like, is this a quick fix? But I'll give you kind of my definition of quick fixes that I tend to see. A lot of women come to me and be like, oh my God, Marissa, holy shit, I did this thing and now I feel worse, okay? So a lot of things that can be quick fixes. Huge calorie deficits. So just not eating a lot, not eating much. And I find a lot of women who are doing typical intermittent fasting, right, where you're skipping breakfast especially, are doing this often. Okay. Other quick fixes, things like juice cleanses, any kind of juice cleanse, any kind of fasting protocol, fasting mimicking protocol, anything like that. That is a quick fix. It does not often fix what you're hoping it will fix, right? And instead has a huge detriment to your hormones. Most kind of crash fitness plans. 75 hard, I have a lot to say about. Has anybody tried 75 hard? Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you have. So 75 hard, right? This idea that for 75 days, we follow a rigid plan. And by the way, there are some things in that plan I actually do really like, but the movement quotient for that plan is kind of unrealistic. Because you're required to exercise twice. Now, one of those could be a walk, which is beautiful and great, but I still think there's too much rigidity there and people take it to a huge extreme. Other quick fixes that I see a lot of people do, elaborate supplement protocols that are not customized to your body. The number of clients who come to me after working with me and then being targeted on social media by a lot of these specialty supplements or specialty supplement protocols that are promising, hey, you're going to drop 10 pounds in 30 days, or promising that this is exactly the answer to you don't have enough energy, your moods are up and down, you're not sleeping well, you're losing hair. Most of them really don't work and backfire. So those are some examples of what I would consider are marketed as quick fixes, right? And these kind of quick fixes, what they end up doing in most cases is really tap into our stress hormones. So especially cortisol, which if you've been hanging out with me for any amount of time, you know I love to talk about cortisol so much when it comes to women's bodies and a lot of the symptoms we're experiencing. And that's because personally, I have found cortisol to be a really great proxy for other hormones being dysregulated. And there's no woman I've ever worked with who has an estrogen problem, a progesterone problem, a thyroid problem, an adrenal problem, who doesn't have a cortisol problem as well. Okay. So here's the deal. What these quick fixes do is they tend to mess with your cortisol, which is going to be your stress hormone that helps you respond. It's meant to help you respond to stressors. It's meant to help you respond if we go way, way back to like the tiger or the bear approaching, and you quickly kind of run away and then things normalize. But in our culture and in a kind of our Western world that most of us are in and functioning in, that's go, 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 we constantly are already tapping into that cortisol, and it's really problematic. And after a prolonged period of time of really trying to tap into that cortisol, we tend to see then low cortisol, which also has really profound impacts. So a lot of times I see quick fixes impact cortisol. In cycling women, it's really common, depending on what point in your cycle, right? If you're in the first half, when you have your period and then leading up to ovulation, or the second half, kind of ovulation and then post that before your next period or bleed, what I tend to see is that depending on when that quick fix was started and you really went extreme with it, we can see ovulation doesn't happen, we can see progesterone doesn't rise, we can see estrogen get jacked up. So that's really common. And in many, many cases, I see these quick fixes really dampen thyroid function. And that's something that concerns me a great deal as somebody who has a thyroid condition. And frankly, while I do know and do feel confident that part of how I ended up with a thyroid condition has to do with my childhood that was extremely stressful and a major exposure to toxins, I also feel extremely confident that my history of quick fixes and extreme dieting did worsen that and lead me to a place where I am with my thyroid, where I have to be very careful and very mindful in order to have decent thyroid function. So these quick fixes really pour gas on the hormonal fire that is either burning too bright or not burning bright enough, and really takes things to the edge. So I am not a fan of most quick fixes, and I'm happy for you as you're jumping in. Drop a quick fix into the comments. I'd love to give it a thumbs up, thumbs sideways, or thumbs down. Something that maybe you've tried or that you've heard about, I can give you my take on it. But I also open up the comments to questions that you all have about anything that I've really touched on here related to hormones and related to women's health, because that is what I specialize in. So what do you do instead of these kind of quick fixes that are literally in front of your face all the freaking time, right? All the time. And by the way, I had somebody ask me earlier today about weighted vests, and I'm curious if any of you are using weighted vests. So weighted vests, I know have really are having their moment, right? And I will tell you, I have a weighted vest too, but I have a much lower weight in the weighted vest than you might expect. And I really think weighted vests are really more of a tool that's just getting people more engaged and excited about walking, which I'm all for. So I have a program that really focuses a ton on walking. I have a new program that's coming out that's going to have a walking element tease to you called Reset 35. So there will be a walking component there because it is absolutely essential. But I think these weighted vests are just getting people more excited about walking, frankly, which is great. But I think the benefits of weighted vests, a lot of us aren't really reaping what we think we are from them. And there are a lot of postural issues that I'm concerned about with the weighted vests. And I've spoken with some colleagues of mine who are in kind of the physical therapy side of things and what they're seeing. And a lot of women are having really poor alignment when they're wearing the weighted vest and doing damage to the spine or injuring themselves. So it's something to keep in mind. Okay, Liz asked, looks like we can start HRT in later years. What's my opinion? It's a great question, Liz. So first of all, I always give the caveat to you all. I'm board certified in holistic nutrition. I'm a certified functional nutritional therapy practitioner. I have all these certifications up the whiz. I've done a ton of education in functional medicine, holistic nutrition, mindfulness, meditation, yoga, all of that, but I'm not a doctor. So please know that anytime I answer a question that incorporates something that a doctor can do or prescribe, that I'm never replacing the advice of a doctor, I'm never diagnosing, and I'm never suggesting a prescription to anybody, okay? So that said, yes, so hormone replacement therapy, it's really important that we get the terms, that we're on the same page about terms, because HRT, unfortunately, if you go to a Western medicine doctor, could mean that they give you hormonal birth control, right? So that's really, really different than BHRT. BHRT, the B stands for bioidentical. So bioidentical means that chemically, the hormone that you would take would be identical to what your body does make or did make, right? or is making small amounts of. So I think that's really important to clarify. So here's the deal. Most women don't prepare their bodies for taking bioidentical hormones, and that's really important because oftentimes you can further dysregulate things if you are experiencing a lot of symptoms and you haven't done things like regulated your nervous system, dialed in your exercise, dialed in your diet, your optimal diet for maintaining lean muscle mass and for supporting your hormone health, and dialed in your habits. So that's got to happen first and foremost, which, by the way, my brand new program, Reset 35, would be an incredible 35-day reboot to help prepare your body for that. So that's just something to keep in mind. And that new program, by the way, you can go to bit.ly/reset35 or head to the link in my bio if you want to read about that. It's on pre-sale right now and the price is going up tomorrow. It is wildly affordable right now. Wildly affordable. It's crazy how affordable it is. So please take advantage of me letting you take advantage of me because tomorrow the price is going up pretty significantly. So please check that out if you're at all interested. It would be an incredible way to get started. But you do have to set the scene and get your terrain, the inner world of your body, ready to go before you throw something like bioidentical hormones in. Some women do need deeper gut healing. So if you're a woman experiencing a lot of gut related symptoms, constipation, bloating, gas, if you have a lot of skin issues, I'd really recommend first working with me or someone like me. We can really help you clean up your gut. That would be a first and foremost before you start introducing those bioidentical hormones. But that said, I'm a fan of them if you are a match and if you don't have other health issues that contradict it. So I will say that. Really, really important when we talk about bioidentical hormones. I think really important that we kind of follow order of operations of what the body is really needing. So that we look towards your symptoms, we look towards lab work, and we determine where does your body need to get started on those hormones. I've seen a lot of women start with testosterone, which is insane to me because testosterone, you'll hear people say, oh, testosterone is the primary hormone, and then that gets turned into estrogen. There's a way of explaining it that way, but I think it's the wrong interpretation. I think a lot of women, especially if you're starting bioidentical hormones later, starting with estradiol and progesterone makes a lot of sense. That's my personal opinion based on everything I know. And that's the other piece of the puzzle that we need to be aware of, is that I'm not a fan of women taking just estradiol unless there's a medical reason to do so without also taking progesterone. Progesterone helps keep estradiol, which is a form of estrogen, in check. That's really, really important when it comes to reducing the risk of certain issues that can come up when we add more hormones into the body, whether they be bioidentical hormones that you're taking exogenously, meaning not made inside of your body, or they're hormones that your body is making more of. Really important to keep those two in check. So I hope that helps answer your question. And if you have any clarifications there on bioidentical hormones, Liz, I'm happy to answer them to the best of my ability. I have a lot of clients because I have access to recommending to my clients things like topicals. So I have a lot of clients who are earlier in perimenopause, and we do take advantage of and use bioidenticals that are topical. By the way, I'm not a fan of pellets. I just have to say that. I'm not a fan of pellets. Like, oh my God, what a scary thing to put something in your body, not be able to take it out. You could have a really strong bad reaction to. We don't really know the rate at which it's going to dissolve. That's probably going to depend on each person's metabolism. So I think those are pretty scary in my opinion. But I have plenty of clients who I refer out for bioidentical hormones, again, because I can't prescribe. And if they need a higher dose, then something we can do topically. And a lot of my clients do well with the estradiol patch, with things like oral progesterone. So those are often things that I see clients taking. They're not the only options and they may not be the right options for you, but those are some things that we can always be considering. So that's how I feel about bioidentical hormones. So I do feel like, to clarify, bioidentical hormones can be a quick fix if you don't prep your body. So if you just jump into it and you think, oh, that's got to be the problem, and you haven't taken a good hard look at your diet and had someone else who knows what they're doing look at your diet, because I've had plenty of women come to me and say, oh, my diet is really healthy. And then I look at their food journal and their diet is not really healthy. Their diet is social media, conventional world healthy, and there's a lot of nutrient gaps happening, right? So I see that a lot. Or they'll say like, oh no, my exercise routine is great. And they're doing something crazy like Orange Theory 5 days a week that's incredibly depleting to the body, and then they're sitting on their butt the rest of the day. And I say that with a lot of love as somebody who has done basically all these things, right? So I know what it's like because I have been there, okay? So these are things that we want to be really mindful of and aware of and careful of. So I would consider jumping to hormonal therapy a quick fix if you do that before you fix other things in your life. And speaking of those other things, I wanted to share with you all, this is really the official announcement of my brand new program, Reset 35. It is a program that is meant to help you and support you in creating consistency in habits that you must have in order to have balanced hormones, that you must have in order to have easy weight loss if you want, that you must have in order to build healthy lean muscle, that you must have in order to have steady energy. All of these things must be present that I'm teaching you inside of Reset 35. And it's a 35-day program, which means anyone can do this. Anyone can do something for 35 days. The reason it's 35 days, which is 5 weeks, is I tend to find that most women, 1 month is not enough. So a 4-week program is not enough. And for many of us, like an 8-week program feels a little too daunting. But 5 weeks is really the sweet spot. And it gives you that first week of what I call practice, where you can really practice the habits and the skills that I'm teaching you and learn how to do them right. And then you just lock it in for a month after that. And the results that women see after going through a process like this with me are truly incredible. So I have had women go through a process like this with me, lose 8 pounds, which I'm not promising this is a weight loss program. It's really about what your body has to give and release. I've had women all of a sudden be sleeping better, seemingly all of a sudden, not all of a sudden from my perspective. I've had women increase their energy, their mood lifts, their digestion improves. All of these things can happen within 35 days. And their confidence increases that they're doing exactly the right things that their body needs them to be doing for healthy hormones and for living a symptom-free or a lower symptom life. So you can check out Reset 35 at the link in my bio. Right now, at the time that I'm recording this live, which is Tuesday, September 30th, it is on super duper early special pre-sale. The price is going up on October 1st. So if you're curious about it, make sure to send me a message, check out the link. It is so low risk for you to sign up for this right now with the price that it is. So I'd highly, highly encourage you to do that and save your spot. This program is going to take you through 5 essential habits that you have got to have locked in for your very best health, for optimal energy and hormone function. Okay. So 5 habits, you can do them. You're going to get a fitness plan that is a 3-day strength training program. Also, you're going to get a movement plan that comes along with that. So more than just what you're doing lifting weights. By the way, you can do this at home or in a gym. It is so freaking doable. You are going to have a whole new routine on lockdown. You are going to get food plan with recipe examples from me on exactly what we need to be eating during this reset. You are going to be getting 3 other habits that are essential to you for you to really lock in order to increase your energy, in order to increase your hormone health, okay, in order to improve how you're feeling every single day. They're things that might surprise you. So I'll leave it to the Reset 35 program to introduce all of those to you. And also, you are getting a pre-sale price that truly is absolutely incredible for a program with me. So check it out at bit.ly/reset35. That's bit.ly/reset, the number 3 and 5. I am so excited to be sharing this with you all. We will get started on October 15th. That's when you're going to get the official guide. And then next week is when we'll kick off. And anybody who enrolls now is also going to get a bonus that's worth over $500, which is 5 weeks of coaching with me. So we will do the Reset 35 together and be wrapped up before Thanksgiving. So it's a great way to be unrecognizable when you come into the holidays and see family members, for them to be like, oh, what did you do, right? Doesn't that feel good? Okay, so check it out at the link in my bio or go to bit.ly/reset35. And I can't wait to see those of you who take the challenge and join me for this true reset that is not a quick fix, but teaching you a new way of life. So you never are pulled into wanting to do any kind of quick fix ever again, because you have a plan and a program that supports you to reset whenever you need and to create a lifestyle. So you don't even need to do resets all the time. You are just living a life that is supporting your hormones and your optimal energy levels. So check out the link in my bio to join us. And I can't wait to see those of you who take the challenge and join Reset 35.